Hey everyone. Thought I'd go live this afternoon. Have a little birthday, little wishes. You know, got to wish Sammy Hagar a happy birthday. Maybe do a little, go over his career a little bit. And then, I don't know why, but I got hooked on the Love Boat. You guys remember the Love Boat? Like 1977 and 1986, if I remember right. Well, man, that TV show was like mind-blowing for this young rocker ass back in the 70s. Usually I reminisce about music, but you know, television obviously and movies are pretty much equally as important, if not more sometimes, than music. Although I remember music more than movies until, like, you know, when it got to about, you know, the 80s, you know, then by Risky Business, Weird Science, 16 Candles, all those great comedies made my focus go, God, you know what? I mean, movies are awesome. So it took me till about Risky Business. What was that, like 1980? God, was it 81, 82, 83? I remember I was in high school still. You know, kind of this unknown guy named Tom Cruise. You know, he just came out of nowhere. And if you look at Tom Cruise's career, he was in like this really crappy movie. I can't remember what it is, but it's before Risky Business. It's where all of his buddies, they get in a car and they go to Tijuana. And I think they just want to go meet girls and go crazy. So I think it's called Losing It. Does this ring a bell to you guys? If you guys are watching, hi everyone. But I remember this crappy movie, and I swear it's Tom Cruise. Yeah, they just go to like Tijuana, and it's all about getting laid and stuff. It's one of those cheesy movies around 1980 or so, but it wasn't legendary yet because, you know, by the time Risky Business, Weird Science, 16 Candles, Fast Times at Ridgemont High was kind of where movies and music gelled to where I like couldn't believe how cool it was. You know, you had Jackson Browne, and you had some other cool bands that were on that Fast Times at Ridgemont High. If I remember right, even Sammy Hagar might be on that. I'll have to look it up in a second here on the old YouTube Wikipedia. But in the 70s, it was mostly like Saturday Night Fever. That kind of kicked off the batshit crazy musical movie dominance, because right after Saturday Night Fever, somebody was smart and said, you know, he's a sweat hog on Welcome Back, Kotter. He's pretty darn good in that disco suit, but why don't we put him in some cowboy jeans and we'll go ahead and have a thing called Urban Cowboy. So if you guys are younger, you know, country music is really mainstream now. You know, Luke Bryan, Kenny Chesney, Blake Shelton. In the 70s, it was really big too, but you had legends. You had, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Johnny Cash. I mean, Johnny Cash had his own television show. And a lot of people don't realize Glenn Campbell, he's one of my favorite guitarists. And I know he's country, and a lot of people don't even remember Glenn Campbell, which is sad because what a legend he was, and he just passed away. You know, Glenn Campbell, just this young guy, talented as hell, moves to Los Angeles, and he's such a good musician, not a singer. He's such a good musician that out of the 15 to 20 most talented, dynamic musicians in Los Angeles, they were called the Wrecking Crew. And if you're into music as much as I am, or if you're a musician, you know just how extremely crazy the Wrecking Crew were on talent, on bass, guitar, on just making some of the most dynamic songs of all time. If I remember right, I think the Wrecking Crew, those 15 to 20 people, they're on like 800 #1 songs and albums. You know, everybody thinks like, oh, the band Kiss, they played all their songs. I'm like, no. I mean, Anton Fig, the drummer of the Dave Letterman show, you know, Bob Kulick, everybody kind of knows these stories if you're a Kiss fan. But if you just look up the Wrecking Crew, and there's a beautiful I think it's on Netflix, but watch a show. I think it's just simply called The Wrecking Crew, but it shows all the musicians that were hired guns that were just the best in the business when it came to playing bass, guitar, piano, where a band could come in or a songwriter like Neil Diamond and go, look, this is how I envision the song. Of course, the band does their best to kind of learn it, but when it came to recording it, that was a big difference. It was this, shh, we're not going to promote the Wrecking Crew, because if you're in the Monkees, you want everyone to think Last Train to Clarksville and I'm a Believer and all those great songs are probably, written by Peter Tork and Davy Jones. They weren't. Obviously a huge band. I mean, the Monkees were awesome, and their TV shows just, and that GTO that George Barris made them, I'd kill to have it. But not to take away from any musician in the 60s and the 70s, but it was very common to where when it came to recording, you would get the Wrecking Crew to come in and make insanely great music in a quick time. There was no taking a few months to learn these songs. The Wrecking Crew were so great that literally within a day, they could play just about any song that you could give them. And that's down to rhythm, blues, James Brown, right down to the Beatles. There's nothing those guys could not play. And Glenn Campbell was one of those players. He was a badass guitarist, not a singer when he moved to Los Angeles. He thought about, being a well-rounded musician, but to make a living as a musician, it's as hard, obviously, as trying to make a living as an actor. It's very tough. And thank goodness people put in the effort to be actors and singers, because there's always going to be another badass song you're going to love, hopefully by next week on the radio, or maybe a new movie's coming out written by a guy who's only like, let's say 19 years old. You're like, where does these stories come from? It comes from the youth. Titanic's already been made. Avatar, done. 16 Candles, in the can. American Pie, done. Scarface, which is considered legendary, done. All the Godfathers, which is probably the best. Part 1 and 2 is usually considered the best all-around movie of all time. And of course, you can get into the, Star Wars. You've got so many great iconic movies. But thank goodness, people that were born in 1910 wanted to be in the movie business when they were probably 20 years old, sometimes younger, sometimes older. But even someone born in 1920 wrote a hit in 1952. And right now, someone that was born in 2005 is probably going to write one of the biggest movies of all time in about 10 years from now. Isn't that kind of crazy? Whoever's going to invent the next Facebook might not even be born yet, or maybe they have been. But thank goodness people chase, inventions in the movie and the music business. Because if you're doing it for money, boy, I just, you're so wrong on why you should be in the movie or the music business. I'm not a very good musician. I play okay drums. I was in radio off and on over 30-something years, since 1987 on. Not one time did I even think about, did I do it for the money? The money is a lot harder to make now. And if it's a drive and if it's a passion, then you need to make money somewhere else so that you can be a musician or a singer or a songwriter or an actor. Just because you do something doesn't mean you get paid. It just doesn't. And it sucks, because all money is just some digital thing on your, go to wellsfargo.com and see how much money you have. Look in your wallet. Isn't money made out of cotton, not paper? Someone told me that one time. If you got a quarter, which is my favorite coin, I love quarters. I hate pennies. You can ask my friend Val. I throw away pennies. They make me sick. I've been doing it for 35 years. If I would have saved all my pennies the last 35 years, I probably have a brand new Corvette outside. But pennies are gross. They look disgusting. I hate copper. It's like wearing gold jewelry. I've never been into that gold stuff. I tried wearing gold back in the 80s, I think. I had a gold necklace, and it wasn't me. It sat most of the time, and then I sold it because it was real gold. But you do what you like. You do what you love. And my gosh, if you can make money doing it as well, that is always going to be the trick. That is always going to be, like, I think, one of the things that opens up the meaning of life. You can think about God, creation, the universe. You can think about all this crazy shit. But one thing you can control is your thought process and what makes you happy, what makes you get up out of bed going, man, I can't wait to kick ass today. And you don't even think about the money part. And it is good to eat. I had to buy this little rubber thing so I can wear ponytails. Somebody was kind enough to invent Suzuki motorcycles because they're my favorite dirt bike. And I love the race bikes too. I've had a couple GSXRs. Love the Gixxers. And I've had four Hayabusas. Thank goodness some guy probably named Corey Suzuki. I don't even know Mr. Suzuki's Wikipedia, but you know what? After I'm done, I'm going to probably go to his Wikipedia and look up the background of Mr. Suzuki, because even he was a kid. He probably got bullied. He probably had to like work his ass off. If he's from an Asian country, obviously Suzuki sounds very Japanese-ish. He probably worked his ass off. There's not a lot of laziness in Japan. I'm speaking just from my friends that have lived there. It's very peaceful, very calm, a lot of good nutrition there. That's why the average lifespan, I think, is older. It's more into vegetables and stuff. But no doubt, there's $12 Big Macs there. But I think Japan, it's a higher priority and an absolute honor to have education. And right now, I'm pretty sure that the youth right now is more worried about Instagram and social media and faking it to make it. Because Kim Kardashian did, all their favorite celebrities did. And then you look at all these kids that are making a really good living on YouTube, producing content. And I don't know what. You've got, what is it, PewDiePie, who does video games. And you have that girl that faked her way into college, Lori Loughlin's daughter. Remember, she was making $3 million a year by kind of just having a fun YouTube channel. And then her mom ruins it by giving a couple $100,000 to a college to get her daughter in. So Lori Loughlin of Full House, and one of my all-time favorite movies, it's called Secret Admirer. She's the cute girl that C. Thomas Howell's in love with. I could watch Secret Admirer I watch it at least twice a year. That's how much I love that comedy. And now when I think of Lori Loughlin, it's like, you know what? Your daughter figured out life. She's making $3 million a year by being herself, doing makeup tips. Obviously, she's really good looking, and that helps. But she had her own thing going on. But then her mom, probably from old school, you've got to have an education. We don't have anybody that has graduated from college. So I'm going to go ahead and give $500,000 so that both of my daughters can go to this college to have an education. And her daughter's like, I don't even know how to spell education. I'm making $3 million a year by just putting hair and makeup on in my underwear, jumping up and down on the bed. Her daughter had figured out life already. Her mom kind of effed things up real big time. And she's going to go to jail because Felicity Hoffman, she got caught bribing. And Lori Loughlin, she's married to Massimo. You guys remember the t-shirt line? There's like no fear. And well, Massimo is a very big company that was like that. She married the owner of that. So after her career kind of took a poop, after Secret Admirer, which is awesome, I never heard of Lori Loughlin again after Full House. I think John Stamos and Bob Saget were kind of the breakaway people that went on to do other things as far as entertainment. And then the Olsen twins, forget it. They just invented like a clothing line and made $1 billion. Isn't that right or something? So, you know, kudos to the twins. Boy, those girls really knew what they were doing. But Lori Loughlin, man, you married a guy that busted his ass and made a lot of millions. But boy, it sure is weird that you wanted your daughters to have a couple of pieces of paper on your wall saying, look, my daughter graduated from Stanford and my other one graduated. Wait, let me see where the check went to. Okay, I wrote a check to Pepperdine in Malibu by the beach. So yeah, this daughter went to Pepperdine, and my other one went to, this check went to Stanford. It's a piece of paper. Way to go, Lori Loughlin. You got to screw and embarrass the hell out of your kids. You should be ashamed of yourself, because right now she's fighting it, thinking that her bullshit and her husband's money is going to get him out. There's a lot of people that busted ass to get into college. Poor, rich, it doesn't matter. Earn your way in. Use your brain. Buying your way into something is faking to make it. Do it on YouTube, because it's kind of free. Your daughter's making 3 million a year already, and you messed it up. She lost her YouTube account. She lost obviously all of her credibility, and everywhere she goes, she's now made fun of, like Paris Hilton kind of went through, and probably still does, even though Paris is quite the magnate. And so's Kim Kardashian. No offense to those girls, they just found a lane and they took it. And I'll tell you what, if you can make $100 million doing that, good for you girls. You know what? Nothing wrong with that. You always got to have the bad people in life. You got to have the good people. You got to have the humble people. What fun is it if you don't have like a lot of crazy shit to read about, like in TMZ websites or National Enquirer or sports? If you can't yell at your TV, what's the point? If everybody's, like my favorite team is Dallas Cowboys. They used to be the most loved team, and now they're the most hated team. I used to live by Kyle Busch and his younger brother, Kurt Busch. I'm sorry, Kyle lives back east now, but Kyle Busch, the most hated guy in NASCAR, but he was my son's age. My son passed away recently, but I love cheering for Kyle just because, man, he's this young kid and he's hyper, he's crazy. Obviously, he's cocky. When you're worth 200 million and you're winning races, of course you're going to be crazy. And when he gets older, he's going to probably be an announcer and a credible guy that will be looked at as a very legit person in the NASCAR community. But right now, Kyle's still young enough to be hated. Kurt, his older brother's like, I'm kind of hated, but not as much as my brother. So you guys got to remember, the Intimidator. Do you remember that guy? Do you know his son, Junior? That's right. The father wore Oakley glasses that Arnold Schwarzenegger debuted in The Terminator. I think you guys know who Dale Earnhardt is. Junior, his son, is kind of a good guy. Dale Earnhardt was the devil in NASCAR. He was called the Intimidator. You can go to YouTube videos and you can watch Dale Sr., who obviously got killed when he hit the wall before they invented that beautiful neck brace to help you not break your neck and die like Dale did. But Dale used to run people off the tracks. He'd bump you. He'd smash you to bits. And this was before safety was an issue. I remember watching one YouTube clip where Dale runs this car completely off the track, off the top. And how the guy didn't get killed is, and it might be Dale Waltrip, because if I remember right, when Dale got killed, the car right in back of him was Darrell Waltrip that went on to win the race, because Dale got killed, I think, the last lap. He just had to do another 10 seconds and he would still be alive. But unfortunately, when his car hit 180 miles an hour, point break, boom, right dead on into a curb. And boy, if you watch his death, go to YouTube right now and just put in Dale Earnhardt death. It doesn't even look like a bad accident. Because he's just going, his car slides, it hits the wall, and now those cars can hit going 500 billion miles an hour and they blow up, and there's fire and giraffes and elephants running all over the place and Godzilla smashing all the cars, and the drivers just get off going, God damn, that was a hell of a race. But poor Dale, gosh darn it, man, that guy died, and it seems like such an easy accident when you see, but he didn't have proper neck protection, so when he hit the wall, and unfortunately his neck didn't win that race. Anyway, but Dale Earnhardt, he was the bad guy, and now he's a legend. And I think Kyle Busch, not the most handsome guy, but you know what? He'll probably go down the same as one of the best. But you always got to have people you love, you hate. The reason I'm bringing it up is you either love David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar, okay? Or you love both. In my case, both. I love Sammy as a solo guy. I love him in the Cabo Wabos. I love him in the Circle. I love him in Van Halen, and I love him in Montrose. When I heard Bad Motor Scooter back in the day, that's some good shit. And Sammy's singing. It sounds like a Sammy song, but Montrose hired this young teenager from San Francisco, and boy, Montrose is still a badass band. Most people don't know Montrose. They think of Sammy Hagar, I Can't Drive 55 on. All right. Sammy had a big old career way before that song put him on the map as Sammy. And then in Van Halen, forget about it. Another 10 or 15 years of just some of the best music ever made. But you're either pro Sammy or pro David. Gary Cherone, the lead singer of Extreme, I don't even know if I can legally even admit that he's in the band. It's not a very good album. Musically, I think it is. But the way that Gary sings mixed with Eddie's playing or designing of a song and production, it just doesn't gel. It's too bad they just didn't call it a side project. You know, not Van Halen. If it had like another name, people would probably like the album a little more. But it's almost impossible to compare Sammy and David Lee Roth Van Halen with Gary. I do feel bad for Gary because in the band Extreme with Nuno Betancourt, and Nuno is one of those guys that sounds real similar to Eddie. There's no doubt about it that Nuno's biggest influence is probably Eddie Van Halen because his style was real similar back in the day when Extreme was really cranking out some nice music. But it just comes down to good, bad, hot, cold, salt, pepper. Suzuki, there'll be people watching my video now going, oh, they suck, Yamaha. Harley, you got to ride a Harley. All right, I got my whole back is a massive Harley. My whole back is a Harley Davidson massive design in ink. But I love Stratoliner Yamahas. I love Gixxer Suzukis. I even like little mini bikes. I even like those little bastard Grons. Are they called the Gron? Those little go-kart things that are legal on the freeway that you can lower and make them longer and stuff. So when you get older, you realize, like what you like. And if people tease you, they probably mean well. Because if I go Dallas, I think they play at 4:30 today. If I watch the game, they'll lose. If I forget about it and go build a puzzle or a Lego kit, they'll win. I know my team's the most hated. The Raiders are soon to be the most hated because once they get in Las Vegas, there's going to be fights, there's going to be deaths, there's going to be crazy shit with money. I lived in Vegas 9 years, and it's a fun town. I love it. I actually wish I still had my home on the golf course there because I'm a big fan of Las Vegas. But I'm also very keen that there's a lot of bad guys with a lot of money there. And the Raiders, not saying that they're kind of like a team that attracts a negative vibe on the street, but let's just say they do. I used to go right across the street from their stadium up there by Oakland and Frisco. I was scared shitless. I would never go there at night. No way. Just like you don't go to Dodger Stadium at night. Dodgers are my favorite team because I grew up in the California area. But you don't go to Dodger Stadium at night. You sure in the hell don't go anywhere around Oakland's current stadium, Oracle up there. And you sure in the hell don't go on Venice Beach at night. You go in the daytime, there's like, you can buy your pot stuff and pretend you have like a medical condition. You can go buy a t-shirt. You can go buy cheesy glasses like I do. I love Venice Beach in the daytime. You just go and sightsee. You just spend a couple hours. And what's funny, in the middle of Venice Beach is a huge police station. And you know where the most crime is? Like 5 feet from it at night. The cops don't even have 10 speeds there. They just go out they just go to see the ocean, and they arrest like 12 people just the first hour they're on duty. But you don't ever go on Venice Beach at night. Just like you don't go Central Park in New York at night. In the daytime, there's forest trees, lakes, grass. I mean, you guys could go look up Central Park. It is unbelievable, but you don't do it at night. So there's a lot of good and bad out there in there, but I just hope everyone focuses more on fun. The reason I'm kind of bringing this topic up is I love talking music to my buddies, and sometimes we'll do it on Facebook. But today I noticed I have a couple more buddies of mine, male, female, and all they do is post negative every day about how society sucks and how politics suck and how men suck and how women are just bitches and how guys are dicks. And if all you do is promote that, it's kind of your own fault. If you're depressed and if you hate social media, it's your own fault. You're using it like, I like to use a fork to eat. When I go to a Chinese place and they give me those two little pieces of, they look like little, what are they? Choppy stickies. I'm like, no, give me a fork. Give me a spoon. Give me some American shit. Cause I can't eat anything with chopsticks. I'd rather use my 3 fingers like this and just scoop up the noodles. I cannot eat chopsticks. But if I take a fork, I can eat the hell out of chicken noodle soup. That's my favorite. Spicy chicken noodle soup. But if you take a fork and go around stabbing people all day in the forearm and in the back of the ass, you're probably going to get punched in your face a lot. So, gosh, man, when you guys use a pen and all you do is promote negative stuff all the time, don't you want to get out of that? See this? That's a keyboard. There's a lot of power in this. They're about 20 something bucks. I use the cordless ones because I like to move them all over the place. Just like I like the cordless, are they mice? I love these little cordless mouses, man. I tell you, I just love the little cheesy mouse. But man, when I take this, that's a lot of power. I know that I can get myself either in a really bad mood or a really good mood. From this Logitech, I think it's a Logitech. Man, if you want to get in a good mood right now, go buy one of these at Best Buy. They're like 25 bucks, and you got to have a couple batteries. And I think, those really shitty batteries that come, you've never even heard of the brand before. Like there's Duracell, Energizer. And then whenever you buy like anything from like Best Buy or any electronic where the batteries are included, the batteries are, I can't even pronounce the name of them. And they seem to last about what, four hours. So, but no, there's a lot of power when it comes down to your keyboard. And when you go to post or text, I do both. I love texting onto my Facebook accounts. And obviously I love this. This is the easiest because my eyes, it's so much nicer on a home system or a big laptop where you can just see everything and you don't have to squint so much. But you can have bad eyes at an early age. I always felt bad for people in grade school. They already had to have those big glasses. And at my age group, they're always they're kind of nerdy looking. Now glasses are kind of sexy. Even a guy can wear glasses and look kind of cool. These are clear. I don't wear glasses yet, but they're anti-flare. And when I'm on the computer all day like this, I can tell the difference if I just, take off my glasses and then I put these on. Oh my God, my eyes feel 1,000 times better. So if you're on the computer a lot, like at your job where you have the big screens where way more energy is in your face, look into glasses and they're clear. You can actually see better with these glasses on than if you're just like taking them off. But look into it, because if your eyes are tired all the time and fatigued, try these if you have the big screens. I read an article the other day, the cell phone is killing everyone's eyes. It's killing their neck and their posture and their eyes, because most people, and this is the biggest screen you can get. There is no bigger screens than this. Well, except for, a tablet and stuff. But even the biggest cell phone, you've got to put your head down at an intersection. You're pretending not to text. And, all the girls, they text like this, like we can't see their boobies all lit up from the screen. And then a man, he's got his right arm down by the console. It's way down there. So, and at the intersection, you kind of look, and a guy can hide texting while driving easier. Because the girls, I noticed they're like more cute. Like a girl might eat more dainty. I notice girls text way more dainty and cute than a guy. If a guy has a 14-inch long arm like I do, hell, I can almost put my right arm out the window and text because my arms are so damn long. I'm like an orangutan. But boy, those girls, they put it on the steering wheel and, and then the screen lights up their boobs. I look at boobs anyway. All I want to do is just honk my horn and go, thank you. Don't text while you're driving at the intersection. I get it. But, but thanks for illuminating your boobs. Because when, your face at night is bright. And if you're a cop, a policeman, you can see someone text at night 5 times easier than in the daytime. And it's a fine. If you get caught texting, you can look at your phone, because people that are Uber, Lyft, and all that stuff, it's okay to look at your phone when you drive. But if the first time you touch your screen like you're manipulating that little bastard, you're going to get yourself a ticket if a policeman sees you. He might give you a warning, but if you're in a city that needs money, you're going to get a ticket. It's going to be $100, and it's a moving violation, by the way. Damn, that coffee's delicious. That's what it is. All right. What I wanted to talk about as I take my lunch break here on this fine Sunday afternoon, I wanted to talk about Sammy Hagar, and then I got caught up in this show called The Love Boat. Now, if you guys are younger, you might have heard about it. Like, oh, I heard of Charlie's Angels. I heard of Fantasy Island. Yeah, that was like 40, 45 years ago. And I'm all, You're right, because they came out in the mid 70s, and that is 40 something years ago. Isn't that crazy how fast time goes? But Sammy Hagar, 72 years old. Most of my friends that are my age, their parents are the same way. So literally, Sammy Hagar is 19 years older than me. So I'm thinking, my God, he's 72 years old. How cool would it be to have like Sammy as Papa? He's singing all those songs and just cranking away. So I'm going to flip my screen over, and I just want to go through a little bit of music and the career of Sammy Hagar. Then I want to go through the Love Boat. So, hey, everybody in the chat room, if you guys are watching me on Facebook, what's happening? All right, man. I'm gonna share my screen. You guys want to go over to my screen right now? Let's go look up this old Sammy Hagar, man. Let's see. Oh, it takes forever. Can you guys hear me okay? All right. Let me just see what's going on here. I should have prepared this before I flipped over my screen, but yeah, look at Sammy. I'm just going to, I put some cool pictures of Sammy Hagar up. Where are you there, buddy? Oh, there. Oh, let's talk about the Munsters too real quick. God, I love the Munsters. Isn't that a fun show? Only 2 years. All right. Most people know Sammy, kind of this look. And this is like a recent picture. This is a 72-year-old man. Bill Clinton looks like shit. All the other actors and actresses, and my gosh, most people in their 70s, they start to look mostly kind of worn out, tired, and they start to walk a little less. But I think if you just have an upbeat personality, and if you're active, and you can see, like, if you look at Sammy, he's actually sweating here, and he has big parties on the beach. You know, he obviously owns Cabo Wabo, which is the name of his rock club in Cabo San Lucas. He had a beautiful tequila company that he sold for over 100 million bucks too. But I think one of the tricks when you get older is focus on just all the things you have. And I don't mean like material shit. Like if you got health, if you can still see, if you can go outside and breathe, if you've got Facebook right now on a cell phone, give me a break. You know how lucky we are? I mean, I've got Zoom software. I'm sitting here in a $4 tank top, and I'm talking about one of my all-time favorite musicians of all time. I mean, how cool is that? I can't really be in a bad mood when I've got all these cool things in front of me. Oh God, I'm bored today. I'm like, no, you're boring. If you find yourself bored all the time, it just means you're boring. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Just don't be unboring. Why do you want to be, I mean, you know, be boring. If you're going to be dead in a casket, that's boring. If you're going to be cremated like my son and I are going to be together in a wall, I guarantee it's pretty boring. But boy, if you're alive right now on a Sunday and you can breathe and you're watching my Facebook, you got some pretty cool shit in your life, man. And right now, Sammy, I've had just the honor of meeting Sammy before. He made me feel just like $1 million, and his music is just unbelievable. Here's the great Eddie Money. Obviously, he just passed away last month. Look at Sammy. Look at how young they are. I mean, Eddie was high 60s. Sammy here's probably about, I'd say this is in the 70s. I'd say Sammy's about 25 years old here. This is after he left Montrose, and he's getting into the Red Rocker. And look at Eddie, barely just fresh from being a New York policeman, you know, Eddie Mahoney. And he went by Eddie Money. And look at him, man, just skinny. He always had the tie. And Eddie just singing those beautiful 70s songs that just put him on the map. Eddie had way more success than Sammy did in the 70s. 2 Tickets to Paradise and Shaken. And oh my gosh, I mean, Eddie had massive hits in the 70s. Sammy had, oh God, you know, in Montrose, Bad Motor Scooter is probably his most famous song. And if you type in Montrose, you know, you can just see, you know, Montrose. Rock Candy is just an outrageous song too. I love it. I can listen to Rock Candy. And if you guys want to see a good YouTube clip, type in Sammy Hagar and Tommy Lee, and they play it. And, you know, I wish that I could play music over my live feeds like this, because I really study music, and I have a lot of fun facts about almost every style of music that I think you think would be fun. You know, just to hear little side notes or who wrote it, or, you know, how the song came to be. That's my favorite part about music. I've burned out all my favorite songs. I can't literally listen to Led Zeppelin Hendrix, Guns N' Roses. I've heard every song 1,000 times. So what I do is I try to study, like, how did they write it? Who produced it? What is the meaning of this? You know, and then go to YouTube and study, you know, just all these cool things. But I think let's see, if I just put in Sammy Hagar, Tommy Lee, Rock Candy, I think they just sang this, because Tommy is just the greatest drummer. And it's so fun to see him playing. And let's see if it's here. I mean, I see him right here. Sammy Hagar. Maybe it's this one right here. I can't really play the music that loud if you're watching me. But check this out. Here's Sammy doing a Montrose song before he was Sammy Hagar. And here's a great Tommy Lee just rocking out, man. Check this out. And then, of course, Michael from Van Halen on bass. Can you imagine going in their basement and just watching Sammy play guitar? Because he's an excellent guitarist. Most people don't remember. They always think of him as a singer and Eddie playing all the guitar. But, you know, Eddie had like 30 years before Van Halen. And then Tommy just makes drumming look like a blast. God, I can't play it very long. If I put it up very long, they'll ban my video. But Sammy Hagar, happy birthday, 72 years old. That is mind-blowing. And he's so healthy and fun. I love following his career. Like even a week or two ago, he had a giant concert on the beach in Los Angeles. And I mean like 20 of the biggest rock bands that are touring. And with the permits and the promoter messed up, it was canceled. And Sammy's like, hey, you know what, man? We'll go down to Cabo. Let's go have a party down there in Mexico, and we'll come back and do it right. You know, most people, they'll cry, they'll bitch, they'll just go crazy and want to jump off a cliff. But I just love Sammy. He gets over drama quickly. Now, maybe in the background, I don't know. But as far as an image, name a lot of bad drama that Sammy Hagar's had. He's just always been able to recover. But this is my favorite song. This is Janis Joplin, and he redid this song. But listen how pretty this is. This is one of my all-time favorite songs, period. Talk about the best vocal. I mean, the timbre, the tone. He can scream. He can sing a pretty ballad like this. And this album, forget about it. Standing Hampton, there is not one filler song on that whole album. Between VOA, Standing Hampton, God damn, that guy knows how to rock. Here we go. Let's just do the chorus. Here we go. Ready? Oh, like I said, well, if I could play music over Facebook, I'd do my whole radio shows just discussing music and cranking it and having a great time. Yeah, 72 years old. Isn't that awesome? October 13th. Yeah, but if you're a Sammy fan, he's got solo albums before I Can't Drive 55, VOA, and this masterpiece here. He has really bad, cheesy ones too. And I mean, they're awful. So, you know, just, you know, look at Sammy's solo albums in the 70s after Montrose. they're so cheesy. And he's dressed appropriately and everything. I mean, let me see if I can find some stuff. Let's see. I'll just put in Sammy Hagar 70s solo. All right, let's just see if I can get any type of, let's see. Oh, here he is singing Rock Candy. God, I want to show you what Sammy looked like when he was solo after Montrose. You know, these Planets on Fire, all these other ones, I Can't Drive 55. He already had a really good rock direction by then. But I mean, he's got some nightmare ones out there, and they're great. I could look at Sammy, and I bet he watches all his old clips, and he just dies. Here's Montrose in 1974. Van Halen didn't even debut till 76 and 77, and they weren't on the map until 78. Here's Sammy 4 years before the Van Halens got with Lee Roth and just made some of the best music ever made. So let's go ahead and watch Sammy. This is the same year that Kiss came out with Dress to Kill. And, well, I'm sorry, just Kiss. So check it out. Here's Sammy Hagar, man. He's barely a teenager here. But, you know, Sammy's that young, thin dude with the blue pants on the left. So here we go, man. Let's turn it up. Boy, don't we all wish we were that skinny? I can only play a little bit of it. I can only play about 10 seconds and I got to turn it down. But look at Sammy. Isn't he awesome? You know, he tried to be a boxer. If you read his background, he was like a good fighter. You know, like Tony Danza. Remember him of Chips and that other show he was on? Yeah, they were like boxers, like Mickey Rourke. But look at Sammy. He looks like he weighs about, what, 142 pounds right there. But this is the legendary song Bad Motor Scooter by Montrose. God, I could listen to this all day. I love raw music that's not overproduced. Like, I'm a big fan of Def Leppard, but I like their raw album. I prefer like High and Dry and On Through the Night than even Over Hysteria, because Mutt Lange, by far one of my favorite producers of all time. I mean, my favorite album, Back in Black, Mutt Lange produced that, but he didn't overdo it. But boy, when he got a hold of Def Leppard, holy shit, Mutt Lange, man, that guy knows how to take 7 vocal tracks and thicken them up to 42, and But I love these videos. I could watch these raw, genuine videos all day. And I know they sound dated. A lot of music does, and I'm glad, because music should sound dated. Just like the 50s should not sound like the 60s, and the 70s should not sound like the 80s. I love it. And I don't know where music's headed. It's more ornery now. Avenged Sevenfold, Slipknot, all these guys have $1 million houses, and then they sing about how shitty life is. I'm like, take off the makeup. They're all in their 50s like my old ass, but they're sitting there singing how bad life is. And I'm like, give me a break. I'll prefer this. Give me a bad motor scooter and ride. That's music. Look at that. Even the drummer has a bowl haircut. That takes balls. Oh, man, it's so fun. 72, man. God darn, I love Sammy. Just the coolest guy ever. All right, so anyway, but it's Sunday afternoon. I'm dragging ass as usual. I do a lot of overnight shit in my life. So by the time it's the afternoon, I'm ready for bed. I had the weirdest dream, and it wasn't about something. If you're a grown-ass man, you always want to dream about the hottest girl in high school, or maybe the Doublemint twins, or maybe doing jumping jacks on a trampoline with Miss February of 1992 at the Playboy Mansion. I've never had any of those good dreams. Mine are always, it wasn't a dream last night, but this is the most common dream I've ever had that I can remember, because they say that most people dream every night. I don't remember my dreams because I wake up so much and I don't sleep really deeply. So I know my sleeping habits, they're really shitty. And I know I dream, but I just don't remember them. I don't think I get into that deep REM, that rapid eye movement, I guess, that we all need. But the only dream I can remember having a repeated dream is I'm running on like a beach, like in Hawaii. And maybe Mauna Loa, or one of the, it's like a volcano mountain, but it looks pretty, kind of like out of Jurassic Park, but I'm kind of like jogging on the beach. And this goes back even as a kid. And I went to the beach all the time, but it wasn't Baywatch in slow motion with Pamela Anderson yet. I was still digging Farrah Fawcett and flipping her hair, and Raquel Welch dressed as like a cave woman. I think it's called The Land of 1,000 Billion Years. I forgot the BC movie, but those slow motion running on the beach sequences, I don't remember any of that until the movie 10 in 1979 with Bo Derek. And she lived in Santa Barbara, my hometown. So that was kind of cool. Her husband, John Derek, lived up by Ronald Reagan and back of me. But the dream that I've had almost every year, the last 40 years, and this goes back as a kid, I'm like running on the beach, but I can't run as fast as I normally can because I'm in sand. And there's it's always on my left, because when I look back to the left, I see lava, like volcano lava. laser beam sharks. So, but for some reason, I'm running on the beach, and I run pretty fast. I still am pretty quick now, even though I'm an old dude. And I'm just running on the beach, but I'm in slow motion. And then I look over to my left, and I see like all this lava. There's no big explosion, you know, like Mount St. Helens. You guys have all seen volcanoes, and then all of a sudden the lava comes later, and then you're like, oh shit. But I'm running on a beach. There's no hot girls. There's no Baywatch. I'm just kind of like, I'm just Mr. Health, I guess. And I just remember there's lava coming down this big, giant, beautiful mountain. And it's funny because even though it's lava that will destroy everything, all the lava is coming down the mountain and it's still nice and green. And it's not like black and dust and shit everywhere. There's just like this lava. And I look back and the lava is coming off the mountain, and now, and it's getting close. And I turn around again, and the lava is like a mile back. I turn around in 5 seconds, and it's like a half mile back. I turn around again, and it's like 100 feet from me. And you know those scary movies? I think some of the best scary movies are like, you know, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 1 in 1974? There's a scene, and it might be at the end of the movie. It's where the truck driver runs over Leatherface. And there's a pretty girl, all bloody, that Leatherface is chasing her. And she gets into the truck. And then Leatherface comes up, and he's trying to chainsaw the side of the door. They get on the other side of the truck. And the trucker's kind of out of shape, but he has like a big wrench. And he throws it at Leatherface, and it knocks him out. But then he gets back up. And of course, that's a mistake in any scary movie. If you have a chance to run away, run away. But I just remember there's this it's like a long view of like the girl runs and gets in the back of like a Chevy truck. She's bloody as hell. Leatherface gets ran over by a truck, but then he destroys and kills the truck driver. And he's so mad. He just takes his chainsaw, and he's going like this and just slamming it. And he's just freaking out. There's no blood or guts, but I love it because the angle is far away, and the girl is hysterical, bloody in the back of the truck, screaming. But I love the camera because it goes far away, and you can still see way back there, Leatherface is having a shit fit. It's not like cut. I love it because I think it's Toby Hooper. Is that who wrote and produced it? Or is that the actor Levin? I think it's Toby Hooper. I think he just died anyway. Rest in peace. But I love the scene because like Leatherface is literally at the truck, and then he's like 100 feet away, and then a half mile away. And I love it because still far away, and you can still see Leatherface going like this with the chainsaw. And then I think the movie ends. My dream is similar. Like I see the lava a mile, 2 miles away, and then I turn back, and then it's faster. And then like, you know, in the scary movies, like all of a sudden they just, like it's a mile away. And then the next scene, it's like a half mile away. And then in 1 second, the monster is right there grabbing them, or they're in front of them. Like they turn around and run. And then the next scene, they look forward and they run right into the monster, you know? And I don't know what that means. I've always asked myself, like, I always think I'm running away from something. Am I avoiding something? You know, because you can either run away from something because you're trying to save yourself, or you're running away from something because you don't want to deal with the issues of your life, or maybe you're chicken or scared or something. But I know that if lava is chasing me, I'm scared shitless of it because it's 1 million degrees, and I don't want to fry my ass and like, you know, and turn into like human soup and lava. But I don't know why, but I've had this dream at least once a year for the last 40. I remember in the 70s having this dream. I never had the cheerleader academy dream. I never had the girl jumping off topless into the swimming pool like Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I've never had any of those good dreams. And if I did, I don't remember them. But I do remember the stupid lava coming after me. And then all of a sudden I look back and it's a half mile away. Then I look and it's right at me. And then I always wake up. And they always say that if you die in a dream, there's a good chance that your nervous system and all that stuff, that you might actually die. And I get it, because if you're older or unstable, I can see you maybe having a nervous breakdown where your heart goes, oh my God, your body's experienced this like it's real. So there probably has been some people that have passed away from scary dreams for some reason. over the last 50 some odd years, I've been able to wake up. And the reason I remember the dream is because I literally feel like I lived it. My heart's like this. I feel kind of sweaty. And I had that dream last night again. And I haven't had it for like a year. I mean, like I said, I only have this dream like maybe once a year. Maybe it's once every other year. Maybe I have it 2 times, but I just remember the last 40, 45 years that I've had this stupid dream. And I had it last night. And I woke, well, what's last night? About 2 in the morning. Because if you look at my Facebook page, I started posting again like 1 or 2 in the morning. Had to do my pee. Then I got up and started doing fun shit. Then I had me some frosted mini wheats. And that's just about the most awesomest cereal. But then I sat there for like 10 minutes eating my cereal going, okay, I had this dream again. I'm running on the beach. Okay, I love water. This is before Pamela Anderson and all the slow-mos and Bo Derek and 10. But why is it a volcano? I do love Hawaii. As a kid, I actually wrote the governor at the time in the 70s at La Patera, because our whole class had to write someone like famous, and they'd do the best they could to mail it. And then like a month later, there was results. I was always fascinated with skateboarding, surfing, and Hawaii. Hawaii 5-0, Jack Lord, Bookham Deno, all that shit was so cool, man. But for some reason, I just wrote Hawaii. And I asked about this, I asked about that. And it's funny, in a month, I got brochures on where to stay and just information. And then the governor of Hawaii, and I still have this, I need to get it out of my storage. He just wrote me back saying, hey, thanks for your intro. And I'm sure his secretary probably wrote it. I hope it really was the governor back then. But this is about 1976. And I'll need to compare, because now that Wikipedia is around, I need to look up who was the governor in 1976. Then I'll get my mail. I've got the envelope that Mrs. Barber, this nasty, rotten teacher that hated my guts, I was in her class. So I was in 3rd grade. And I was born in 66, 6, 7, so 9 years old, 4, 64. So this is about 1973. So about 1973, I need to see who the acting elected governor was. And then I'm going to go down to my storage unit in a day or two, and I know where all my envelopes are. I'm going to get that out and see if it actually matches. I'll be pissed if like the governor was like Don Ho, and then, and then then the guy who wrote me back, his name was like, Jesse Strange. So I'll be pissed, because I believe that the governor took time to write this kid back in Santa Barbara, just going, man, I love surfing, I love the waves, but I've always been fascinated with, anyone that's around me. I'm always talking about the beach and tanning and just, God, going on wave runners or just, doing something in the water, so maybe that's what my dream is. I've never been able to kind of decipher what the hell that is. Okay, so that's my dream last night. I had it again. I haven't had it for a long time. So cheers to dreams. And if you guys have had like a regular one, post like what your dreams are. Like I know you don't have to write 5,000 words, but if you guys could write like 100 words or less, but it has to be a dream that you guys have had over the last 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Because there might be someone listening to this where it's kind of like, yeah, you know what? It's weird, but every 5 years I have this dream. It might not be the exact dream, but it's similar. But my dream is almost exact. It's just, I'm just running on the beach. There's really no one around. It looks like Hawaii. I look over and there's this big giant mountain. And then all of a sudden there's just like this lava chasing me. And like I said, it's still green. It didn't erupt. There was no shaking and tumbling going on like Firehouse and Godzilla, But I love studying people's dreams. If they're sex dreams, I'm so jealous. I wish. I don't even have one I can remember. I woke up and went, oh my God, I was making out with her. And I was grabbing her boobies, and she was kissing my neck, saying that I smelled good, like Elsha or Aquavelva. I don't have any of those dreams. Damn it. All right. Happy birthday, Sammy Hagar. 72 years old today. Love him, man. Van Halen. Oh my God, I could go on and on. Okay, now what I want to do is share my screen. And this leads into the water. And you guys probably know this show that I'm going to talk about next. If you're from the 70s, who does not remember The Love Boat? You had all these iconic black and white shows like Gilligan's Island and The Addams Family, and then color came. Remember when the Brady Bunch said the Brady Bunch, and then at the bottom of the logo when it started, it said now in color. Do you guys remember that? The Brady Bunch now in color. It's like, wow, man, that's awesome, you know? So if you guys remember this, I can't play it very loud. Here we go. Who remembers Lonnie Anderson? Okay, now now let's go through. Okay, you obviously know him. He was from Charlie's Angels, remember? Bosley. Everybody remembers her because she was from WKRP in Cincinnati, and obviously she married Burt Reynolds for a while. Okay. Now, I always love that. Now, Charles Frank, who the hell is that? So now I want to do a dedication to the Love Boat. So actor, let's see. Oh, let me turn on my thing here. Actor Charles Frank. I have never even heard of this guy. All right, let's see. Actor Charles Frank. Okay. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Oh my God, look at how old he is. Isn't that wild? Like here, check it out. Okay, there's Charles. And there he is there. So, okay, there's Charles on the left. And there's Charles right there. Okay, well, let's see. Charles Frank is an American actor noted for playing Brett Maverick's cousin Brett in The New Maverick with James. Okay, well, that was a big show back in the day. You know, Maverick. Maybe that's why I don't recognize who he is. What I love to do is see if they die. Do you guys ever do that? Watch your favorite TV shows and then you go to the Wikipedia to see if they're dead or what the plot's about and stuff. All right, well, Charles Frank, man, good job, buddy. He's still hanging in there. Let's see who else is guest starred on The Love Boat. Exciting. Okay, now Alan Ludden, remember, he used to always host all those talk shows, but he was married to the very famous Betty White, and they were married like 60 years. Now, Betty's still alive, going on 100, but that's Alan Ludden, the famous talk show host. I loved Alan. He was cool. He makes sunglasses look cool. Okay, here we go. Ooh, Robert Stack. You guys remember him? America's, oh, God. Oh, you know what's funny? Okay, you guys know Robert Stack. Remember he was like Murders and Mysteries or whatever? His girlfriend for a lot of years is the beautiful Yvonne De Carlo, the beautiful lady that I just did a tribute to earlier. Okay, so yeah, what a coincidence. Here we go. Let me see. My Facebook feed's going a little slow today because I have so many damn windows open. Okay, here we go. Oh, whoops. Hold on a minute here. All right. Well, happy birthday, Sammy, but we're going to go look at another post here. Okay, let me see here. Let's go like this. God, didn't you love Yvonne De Carlo? All you guys out there that would just love the Munsters. Most of us saw the Munsters on syndication because it only ran 2 seasons, like 66 to 68, and it was gone. But Yvonne, she was a superstar way before the Munsters. Her career was kind of on its way out by the time she became just the hottest, sexiest monster ever. But look at her face. Is that a face to die for? And look at that. She was Charlton Heston. She was in the 10 Commandments. But look at her face. God, just in my opinion, just as good looking as Marilyn Manson, Marilyn Monroe, James Manfield, Mamie Van Doren, got all those legendary actresses. But wouldn't you agree? Her face is just as beautiful. But look at that. Her big eyes. Isn't that funny? You can just tell her eyes that she's Lily from the Munsters. But what's kind of funny is she was like a legendary actress with John Wayne and some of the biggest actors in the world. And then her career, you know, she did like those low budget ones too, like Russ Myers. You know, I love those ones. But God, isn't she just beautiful? And she had kind of a tough life marriage-wise. She married a couple guys that didn't work out too good, but she raised, you know, her own kids and then her husband's. I think she raised a total of 5 kids. And she was pretty much the breadwinner for a long time because one of her husbands, Jock Mahoney, I think his name was, he was filming, I think, the 10 Commandments or How the West was one, but he got ran over by a train and got his legs cut off for real. And the movie studio, she couldn't, there was no like insurance or no way to sue the studio because it was the fault of the hired stunt crew. It wasn't the movie crew. So when her husband lost his legs, there was no millions paid out and no insurance. So, but boy, if you look up the career of Yvonne De Carlo, she's from Canada. She moved to LA. She could only stay like every 6 months, but she was a killer dancer. And then the only job she could get was being like a burlesque dancer where you take your clothes off, not all the way nude, but almost. But all the most famous actors in the world that were single would see Yvonne at it was like going to a strip club. And she would see like the biggest actors in the world. And one of them, coincidentally, is this guy right here, Robert Stack. Isn't that funny? I didn't even realize this clip. I just typed in Love Boat. But yeah, Robert Stack was his girlfriend for like, oh my God, 3 or 4 years. So, okay, here we go. Let's see who's guest starred on the Love Boat here. Oh, did I say the Village People? All right, Johnny Lightfoot. I just saw the Village People last year at Sandy Amphitheater. Oh, there's Betty White. We're just talking about Betty married to Alan Ludden. Doesn't this bring back memories if you guys are my age? You guys remember like just getting out of high school and watching episodes of the Carol Burnett show? And, this show was so big, it had a 40 share. That means half of the televisions in the United States would watch this 1 hour show. Look at Gavin MacLeod. Remember him? He was a legend from the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Let's see. Okay, Bernie. Bernie's still alive. He's almost 90. And Captain Stubing, Gavin MacLeod, he's still alive. They're both almost 90 and they're still kicking ass, man. This gives me chills. Okay, now Fred, now my Draper family's all from Iowa. Fred, he quit the Love Boat, I think the final season. It ran like 9 years, if I remember right. But if you remember Fred, he got kind of tired of playing gopher, the lovable guy chasing girls, and he went ahead and quit the Love Boat, and he went back to Iowa, and he's just an amazing, I don't know what, but he's just in the government there. He's been elected and just kicking ass for like 40 years now. So yeah, Fred, man, he took the Love Boat and got some votes and been kicking ass in Iowa for a long time. Let's see, who else? Okay, remember Isaac and Julie? Okay, now Ted. Okay, now see what he's pointing like that? How many of you guys used to do that? Because I remember, I loved it because he was always with the ladies serving drinks. He made bartending cool. I mean, I'm trying to think of one cool bartender in the history of Hollywood. And he's it. He's just like, and every episode it's like, hey, Isaac, can you get me some cocktails for the bikini team on the Lido deck? And he'd be like, hey, no problem. And then he'd go, that was his lines. He only said like 3 words every episode. And then he'd snap let's just watch that again one more time. I could watch him snap his fingers all day. Let's do it one more time. Here it comes. Okay, now Julie. Remember the hot girl, Julie? Oh, she's my age. She's born in 66. Jill Whalen. Okay, there she is. Okay, I feel bad for Julie, and her real name is Lauren. If you look up her career, obviously, fame got to her. She got hooked on, I think, cocaine and probably all sorts of drugs just with the pressure of being famous and stuff. But she made a comeback. She got rid of all the drugs and stuff. And when I read about her, by the time Hollywood found out about her drug habit, she was almost clean. But the way it was back then, the National Enquirer and all those junk magazines, they couldn't wait to just tattle on people back then. And Julie, or Lauren too, she did a really good job getting off her cocaine. But it just, by the time she was almost clean, they lit her up like a torch and just embarrassed her for years and years. So most people, when you think of Lauren, she was such a pretty girl with the big teeth and just hot as hell. But then if you're my age, you'll remember that, her career really kind of took a nosedive after the cocaine. But she, if I remember right, she went ahead and formed like one of the best drug rehab organizations in the world. So I'm kind of proud of her, man. I mean, that's awesome. So good for Lauren Tews. Oh my God, I can watch these. Okay, let's see. Tony Webster. Isn't it funny to see all these names? Because they're all probably dead now. But look, the Village People. Look, David Hodo, Felipe Rose, Glenn Hughes, singer of Deep Purple, Alex Briley, Raymond Simpson, and Randy Jones. How cool is that? God, man. And you know the black singer of the Village People? He was the only straight guy. You know who he was married to? The mother of the Cosby Show, Felice Rashad Ahmad, or remember the lady married to that sick piece of shit Bill Cosby? Yeah, the mother. Her real life husband was the lead singer of the Village People, and now she's married to Ahmad Rashad, the football player. All right, let's see. I'm trying to see because what they do is these old episodes, like people like Leonardo DiCaprio will be like the young boy. Like there's all these superstars that were always the guest stars. God, I feel like I'm in high school again. I just always remember watching this show, and I would actually be depressed at the end because I'd love the Carol Burnett show. I'd watch Days of Our Lives with my buddy Jeff, and I remember watching, you know, just these syndicated shows because cable wasn't really around yet, but syndication was. And what that means is like, you know, this series was obviously 1977 to about 1986, if I remember right. But syndication just means, okay, we have 100 episodes. Now we can go ahead and just play these things, you know, all over whatever company wants to pay us, you know, for reruns. And that's how it is still to this day. But I remember this is one of the first syndicated shows where I missed like Love Boat, let's say 1978 and 79. Well, in 1985, I could sit and watch them all. And it was just so mind blowing because this is one of the first shows I remember that had syndication. So what I did is I typed up fun facts about the Love Boat. And boy, it's crazy when you read about some of the stuff, like who produced it. Aaron Spelling, obviously from Fantasy Island and Charlie's Angels. His house is still the biggest in Los Angeles. It's literally right next door to the Playboy Mansion. And it's mind blowing. I was able to go to the Playboy Mansion and I went in the back where you're not supposed to go. And I looked over a fence. There's a golf course, but off to the right was Aaron Spelling's mansion. And it's the size of like a mall. I'll show you a picture of it next to the Playboy Mansion in a second here. But, you know, the Love Boat, it was a book, you know, so a lady wrote just a book called The Love Boat. And then, you know, a couple of people go, you know, maybe we can make it into kind of a fun TV show. And that's kind of how it started. But it says only 3 actors were in every single episode. And that's Captain Stubing, Doc, and Isaac, the bartender. All the other ones, you know, they came and went, or maybe they were sick or whatever. But look at how many. Look, this is funny. Okay, you guys remember the Brady Bunch? There was 3 different times where they had Mike and Carol Brady on the Love Boat episode, but they played different characters. And what one of the funny puns is on the episode where they'd be together, they would have Mike and Carol Brady walking in the hallway of the Love Boat. They would look at each other, they'd smile, they'd walk away from each other, they'd turn around like they knew each other before, and then they'd walk off without talking. That was like one of the inside jokes of the Love Boat. So I want to go to YouTube and see if I can find a clip of that because they're so iconic. Like, who doesn't know the Brady Bunch, mom and dad? But it's so funny. You know, you can see like Mike and Carol Brady walking, and they don't really say hi. They don't kiss each other goodnight. They don't, you know, Robert doesn't give like this great advice about life, and Marsha. But oh yeah, and this is interesting. Check this out. The Love Boat was a real love boat, obviously, and they named it the Love Boat. But if you had $3,000 to $4,000, you could actually set sail on the boat, and they would film the show on the boat. I mean, most stuff like that is filmed in studios, but isn't that cool? If you look at that, $3,300 to $8,000, and this is back in the '80s where it was probably, you know, that's probably $30,000 now. But anyway, and then who doesn't know Dionne Warwick, man? Host of my favorite show, Solid Gold. And her sister's daughter is the world famous, what's her name? Whitney Houston. So this one's kind of funny. Check this out. See number 12 here? The real Love Boat, after the show was retired, it was just cruising around doing stuff. And in 1998, the country of Greece impounded it and found a ton of heroin on board. And then by 2010, the ship became too old and just too expensive to renovate. So they sold it for $3 million and just turned it into a big chunk of metal, and it's probably a brand new ship now. But isn't that funny? It turned into be a big giant cruise ship in the heroin trade. You know, so boy, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, watching all those episodes of The Love Boat, especially Julie, Lauren too. She's probably like, God, no wonder I was hooked on cocaine. It was all hidden underneath the boat with all these grease drug dealers. So, oh man, I just love these things. So, all right. Well, anyway, God, I'm losing my voice here. I talk so much. Yeah. So, um, but now I want to go to YouTube and see if I can find the clip. And if you guys can help me, I don't know if you guys are watching me live right now. Can you guys try to go to YouTube and see if you guys can find a clip where Carol and Mike Brady, which is Robert Reed and Florence Henderson, but when they're on the Love Boat, you know what I mean? Like they're walking, they look at each other and smile, and then they walk off like, do I know you? And it's like, oh yeah, we were only on the most famous show of all time, the Brady Bunch. So yeah, I love those little, just little stuff like that, because I forget. You know, the actor that I remember on there, remember Donnie Most? Do you remember Ralph Mouth? Wait, Ralph Mouth. That's hard to say. That's hard to say. I remember he was a guest star on it. And I remember Charo. Do you remember her from like South America? She'd go, coochie coochie coo. And she's like really sexy, like a Spanish. She was like a really hot, funny Selena, you know, and then Selena's probably the most famous, you know, after Charo, and then Jennifer Lopez, you know, whatever. But if you guys remember Charo, for some reason, I just remember she was always on the Love Boat, Fantasy Island. I had no idea what she did. I never one time heard her sing. I just remember she had beautiful breasts and sexy body. She reminds me of that lady that's, I just saw her the other day. She has that accent, and she's on that TV show with the father of Married with Children. Do you know that show? But it's Mr. Bundy, and he has a really hot Spanish girl. But that Spanish girl, whatever her name is, she reminds me of Charo back in the 70s and the 60s. So it's funny how these hot, just God, the Latino, man, they're hot, man. They are. I love their voices. I just want them to yell at me mad, like, Cody, you just quit building those Legos all day, and you get a haircut or no sexy time with my sexy Latino body. And I'd be going, I don't want to give up Legos or cut my hair. And then I went to acting school for like 3 sessions. So I'd probably, cop a fake cry. But if that Spanish girl with the Married with Children father, if she told me to get a haircut, I'd probably cut it maybe a ½ inch. Just my ends. Yeah, she's sexy, man. So, okay. Well, anyway, I just want to say hi real quick. It's Sunday. It's beautiful in Utah. It's like insanely nice, because in October it starts getting cold in Utah. Obviously by November the mountains start getting snow, and by December it's snowy enough where the ski resorts are open and whatnot. But in the next 30 days is when the Utah weather, it still looks beautiful outside, but the highs of 70 like today go to 60, and then 55, 50, 40. It goes so fast. Like in the summertime, doesn't it seem like timeless? Like for 5 or 6 months, it's just life is so perfect in the summertime. And then winter comes fast here because, you're in tank tops and shorts, got a little tan rocking out. Then you go to your car in the morning to go to work, or just, maybe it's Sunday afternoon and you open up to your garage door and go, Jesus Christ, then you got to start wearing like a long sleeve. And oh God, I'm not a fan of winter. I do visually love winter. The mountains here are gorgeous. I love going to ski resorts and just seeing, and I love driving in the snow when it's crazy. Put it in 4-wheel drive. I love it. The only reason I hate winter is mostly just because I have to wear more of a coat. And then the trees that are all brown and sexy, they all kind of die, and obviously they don't grow back until, when summer comes a knocking, or spring, whatever you want to call it. So, but yeah, we're getting into the colder season here in Utah. But it's all good. I think it's kind of fun to have seasons. Although if I lived in Hawaii, I'd be sitting there running from lava. Evidently, my dream is like to live in Hawaii while lava is running out. Of course, it's not Bo Derek or like a sexy Baywatch girl running after me going, Cody, please just make out with me. You Colonel Sander bearded man, make love to me now. No, I don't have those dreams. I've got like liquid magma chasing after me. So, God, come on. I want to have a good dream. Dang it. All right. So anyway, all right. Well, cheers. Good to talk to you guys. Hope you guys are having a good Sunday, and I'll see you at least 1 million more times. And let's hope that Mike Myers, and I don't mean from Halloween, but Mike Myers, please make either a Wayne's World or, more importantly, Austin Powers Part 4. I am so there, brother. God, I love those movies. So, okay, well, have a good one. I'll see you in a little bit. And happy birthday, Sammy Hagar. That was a lot of fun talking to you folks. See you in a bit. Okay, bye.